Look at your hairbrush. Look at your shower drain. Look at your pillow in the morning. If you're seeing more hair than you used to, I want you to stay with me for the next few minutes, because what I'm about to share with you is something that millions of people over 50 are completely unaware of, and it could be the reason your hair is thinning right now. This is not about genetics. This is not just getting older. And it is definitely not something you have to simply accept. Here's something that might surprise you. Hair loss is one of the most common complaints doctors hear from patients over 50. In fact, studies suggest that more than half of women and a significant number of men start noticing visible thinning after the age of 50. And do you know what most of them are told? It's hormones. It's stress. It's just part of aging. And sometimes, yes, those things play a role. But here's what rarely gets mentioned in that doctor's office visit. Your body may be quietly running low on something absolutely essential, something your hair follicles desperately need to survive, and most people have absolutely no idea they're missing it. Now, think about this for a moment. Your hair is not just decoration. Each strand grows from a tiny follicle, a living structure beneath your scalp that needs a constant supply of nutrients to function properly. When those follicles don't get what they need, they don't just slow down. They start to shrink. They produce thinner, weaker strands. Eventually, some of them stop producing hair altogether. And here's where it gets interesting. Researchers studying hair loss patterns in older adults discovered something that most people would never expect. One of the most overlooked triggers for hair thinning isn't a hair problem at all. It's a body-wide nutritional problem. One that starts silently, builds slowly, and only becomes visible once the damage has already been happening for months, sometimes years. Now, before I tell you what this is, I want you to think about something. Have you also noticed any of these recently? Dry skin that just doesn't seem to respond to moisturizer the way it used to? Eyes that feel irritated, scratchy, or sensitive, especially at night? Getting sick more often than you used to? Cuts or scrapes that seem to take longer to heal? If you nodded yes to even one or two of those, what I'm about to share is going to make a lot of sense to you, because these symptoms and your hair loss may all have the same hidden root cause. And what researchers have found about this connection is something your doctor may never have brought up. The nutrient I'm talking about is vitamin A. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Vitamin A? Isn't that just for eyesight? That's one of the biggest misconceptions about this vitamin. Yes, vitamin A plays a critical role in vision, especially night vision. But it does so much more than that. Vitamin A is what scientists call a fat-soluble vitamin. That means your body stores it in fat tissue and in your liver, and it plays an absolutely essential role in something called cell turnover, the process by which your body continuously replaces old, dying cells with fresh, new ones. Now, here's why that matters so much for your hair. Your hair follicles are among the fastest dividing cells in the entire human body. They are constantly growing, cycling, renewing. And that process requires vitamin A to function properly. When vitamin A levels drop, even slightly below optimal, your follicles can't complete their normal growth cycle. They get stuck, they shrink. And instead of producing strong, healthy strands of hair, they produce thin, brittle ones, or nothing at all. But here's the part most people don't know. Even people who think they're getting enough vitamin A through their diet may still be deficient. And after the age of 50, this becomes dramatically more likely, for reasons that have nothing to do with what you're eating. In a moment, I'm going to explain exactly why that is. And I'm going to walk you through the specific signs that your vitamin A levels may be lower than they should be, beyond just the hair. But first, I want to make sure you understand something important about how this deficiency actually develops, because it's not as straightforward as most people think. Let's talk about what vitamin A deficiency actually looks like in the body, because hair thinning is rarely the first sign. The first place it often shows up is your skin. You may notice your skin feels rough, dry, or almost sandpaper-like, especially on the backs of your arms or your thighs. This is sometimes called keratosis pilaris, those small, rough bumps that many people just assume are a skin condition. But they can be a direct sign that your body isn't getting enough vitamin A. The second warning sign involves your eyes. Do you struggle to see clearly when you walk from a bright room into a dim one? Do your eyes take longer than they used to adjust to darkness? That's called night blindness, and it is one of the earliest and most classic signs of vitamin A deficiency. Third, your immune system. Vitamin A is critical for maintaining the mucosal barriers in your nose, throat, and lungs, the first line of defense against viruses and bacteria. When vitamin A is low, those barriers weaken. You may find yourself catching colds more easily, taking longer to recover, or dealing with recurring respiratory infections. Fourth, wound healing. Small cuts, scrapes, or bruises that seem to linger longer than expected can be a sign that your body's repair system is running low on vitamin A. And fifth, back to the hair. The thinning, the increased shedding, the fine, fragile strands that snap easily, the hairline that seems to be slowly retreating. These are all consistent with what happens when hair follicles are deprived of adequate vitamin A over an extended period of time. If you're recognizing more than one of these signs in yourself right now, pay close attention to what comes next. So why does vitamin A deficiency become so much more common after 50? This is where it gets really important to understand. Reason number 1, changes in digestion. As we age, our digestive system becomes less efficient at absorbing fat-soluble vitamins. And because vitamin A requires dietary fat to be properly absorbed, even if you're eating the right foods, your body may only be taking in a fraction of the vitamin A it needs. Reason number 2, lower stomach acid. Many people over 50 naturally produce less stomach acid than they did in their younger years, and this is made worse by the millions of people taking acid-reducing medications like proton pump inhibitors or antacids. Lower stomach acid directly impairs the breakdown and absorption of nutrients, including vitamin A. Reason number 3, dietary changes. As people age, they often eat smaller portions. Appetite decreases. The variety of foods consumed can narrow, and if you're not regularly eating vitamin A-rich foods, or if you're following a very low-fat diet, your intake may be far below what your body actually needs. Reason number 4, liver function. Because vitamin A is stored in the liver, any decline in liver health or efficiency, which naturally occurs with age, can affect how well the body stores and releases this vitamin. Reason number 5, conversion issues. Many people rely on beta-carotene, found in orange and yellow vegetables, as their primary source of vitamin A. But here's something critical. Beta-carotene must be converted into active vitamin A inside your body, and this conversion becomes significantly less efficient as we age. So even people eating plenty of carrots and sweet potatoes may not be getting the active vitamin A their follicles need. Most people don't realize that. And it's one of the reasons vitamin A deficiency can be hiding in plain sight, even in people who feel like they eat reasonably well. Now let's talk about what you can actually do about this. Step 1. Focus on preformed vitamin A foods. Preformed vitamin A, also called retinol, is the form your body can use directly, without any conversion. It's found in animal-based foods. The richest sources include beef liver. This is by far the most concentrated source of vitamin A on the planet. Even a small serving provides several times the daily recommended intake. Eggs, particularly the yolk, which contains retinol in a highly bioavailable form. Fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, and sardines all contain meaningful amounts. Full-fat dairy, whole milk, cheese, and butter contain retinol, especially if the animals were pasture-raised. Step 2. Don't abandon plant sources, but understand their limits. Carrots, sweet potatoes, spinach, kale, and butternut squash are all rich in beta-carotene. They're excellent for overall health, but as we discussed, the conversion to active vitamin A is unreliable in older adults, so think of these as supplementary sources, not your primary ones. Step 3. Always eat vitamin A with fat. This is non-negotiable. Because vitamin A is fat-soluble, It needs dietary fat present in your meal to be properly absorbed. Eating a carrot on its own gives you far less vitamin A than eating that same carrot with a little olive oil, butter, or alongside a protein source. This simple change alone can dramatically improve how much vitamin A your body actually receives. Step 4. Consider a supplement, but do it carefully. Vitamin A supplements are widely available. However, I want to offer a gentle caution here. Unlike water-soluble vitamins that flush out of your body easily, vitamin A accumulates in fat tissue and can reach toxic levels if taken in excessive amounts. This is rare, but it's real. If you're considering a supplement, look for one that contains mixed carotenoids or a moderate dose of retinol, typically 700 to 900 micrograms per day for adults, which aligns with the recommended daily intake. Many high-quality multivitamins for adults over 50 include this amount. As always, and I want to be clear about this, speak with your doctor or a registered dietitian before beginning any new supplement. They can test your actual vitamin A levels with a simple blood test, so you know exactly where you stand. Step 5. Support overall nutrient absorption. Because the absorption issue is just as important as intake, consider steps that support your digestive health. Adding a small amount of healthy fat to every meal helps. Eating fermented foods like yogurt or kefir can support the gut microbiome. And if you're on medications that suppress stomach acid, have a conversation with your doctor about whether that could be contributing to nutrient deficiencies. Let's bring this all together because I think this is genuinely important. Hair thinning after 50 is not inevitable. It is not just what happens. In many cases, it's a signal. Your body's way of waving a flag and saying, something is missing. Vitamin A is one of those foundational nutrients that quietly governs so many processes in your body. How your skin renews itself, how your immune system defends you, how your eyes adapt to darkness, and yes, how your hair follicles function and survive. When levels drop, whether due to age-related absorption changes, dietary gaps, medication effects, or conversion inefficiency, the consequences can show up in ways we too often dismiss as just getting older. But now you know better. You know the signs to watch for. You know why this deficiency becomes more likely after 50. And you know the steps you can take, starting with your very next meal, to begin addressing it. Your hair may be telling you something your doctor hasn't mentioned yet. It's worth listening to. If this video gave you something to think about, something you hadn't considered before, I'd really love to know. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you noticed any of these signs? The dry skin, the hair thinning, the night vision changes? You might be surprised how many people in this community are experiencing the same thing. And if you found this helpful, please give this video a like. It genuinely helps more people over 50 find information that could actually make a difference in their health. Subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you hit the notification bell, because every week I'm bringing you more of these deep dives into the hidden nutrient deficiencies that doctors don't always connect to the symptoms you're living with every day. Share this with someone you care about, because the person who needs to hear this might be someone sitting right next to you. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself. You deserve to feel your best at every age.